You're now listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.
Hello, Rockies. This is Sarah Jane Maroney, your host for Engage the Rockies, your go-to podcast concerning local and state issues for Colorado. Welcome to the first full week of January 2025. First up, the J6 praying grandma. Colorado Springs area resident Rebecca Lavrens was found guilty last year on 4 federal misdemeanor charges related to the Capitol breach on the 6th of January. Video surveillance showed her entering the Capitol with other attendees and being inside for about 10 minutes before exiting. She says she didn't touch anything, yell, or anything, and she just looked and prayed. She was actually arrested 2 years later after a tipster reported her having been at the event. And she was then convicted in the DC appellate court. She was put on house arrest. She wasn't actually jailed. And she wears an ankle monitor and is only allowed to leave her house twice a day, for an hour at a time. And this is coming up because Donald Trump has said that he will pardon many of the 1,572 defendants charged with crimes related to those breaches. And 590 of them are charged with impeding law enforcement, which is also a felony, but it's unsure as to which ones he's going to be pardoning or not, or all of them. However, she feels like she would be offered a pardon, and yet she would deny it. Her lawyers are going to be filing an appeal very briefly in the next little while, stating that she didn't have First Amendment rights when at the Capitol. And she was convicted on the 4th of April in 2024. And this precedent setting is why she says that she would deny a pardon from President Trump, so she could set a precedent. A little bit further afield, we're playing musical chair. The acting U.S. attorney for the District of Colorado, his name is Matthew Kirsch. And he took over just in June, after Cole Finnegan submitted his resignation in May. And now Matthew Kirsch is leaving. He has been asked by former U.S. Attorney John Walsh to be the first assistant district attorney in Denver. What's funny about this, but congratulations to District Attorney Kirsch, U.S. Acting Attorney Kirsch. This is kind of confusing. In 2024, he also received the Director's Award for Executive Achievement from the Executive Office of United States Attorneys in the 6 months that he was in office. And he is being replaced by the first Assistant U.S. Attorney J. Bishop Grewal. I think that's how you pronounce that. Who will be acting U.S. attorney when the resignation goes into effect. He joined the Department of Justice this is first assistant U.S. attorney who will be the acting U.S. attorney. Grewal joined the Justice Department in 2010 and was appointed to the District of Colorado in 2013, and he is currently the chief of the appellate division. And a new U.S. attorney will be expected to be announced by President Trump in the coming month. Lots of wildfires are happening in California currently, specifically in Pacific Palisades. Wildfires have consumed quite a lot of acreage and lots of houses. In Colorado, however, we did a study. It was actually CU Boulder. There was the Marshall Fire that had 100-mile-an-hour winds and destroyed more than 1,000 homes. This was in December of 2021, southeastern Boulder County. And they did a bunch of studies. And the reason this is being brought up is because maybe it would affect those in LA County who are smoke weary. There were 2 studies done by CU Boulder that looked at toxins that were drifting into still standing homes from the fires. I'm not going to try to pronounce the words of all of these toxin chemicals. Suffice it to say, it's not good. And health impacts have decided that even 6 months after the fire, more than half the respondents spoke of headaches, sore throats, and strange tastes in their mouth. according to the study. And they tested a design for a homemade filter using furnace filters taped to a box fan, drawing air upwards through the filters. And this affordable gadget actually worked for quite a bit of time, but when the filters got clogged, that's when it didn't work as well. But it did initially work, which sounds like a quite affordable solution. Certainly, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone in California, and we pray for the firefighters who are busily trying to put out these fires. Finally, the 75th Colorado Assembly, the first session, opened on January 8th, 2025. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance. Quite a few notable attendees. Ernest House Jr. of the Ute Mountain Tribe, formerly the executive director of the Colorado Commission of Indian Affairs, was the first to address the Colorado House. And then there were quite a few other guests. However, when they got down to business after the opening ceremonies to attempt to certify the election, a debate began. Representative DeGraff voiced apprehensions about exposed passwords and questions of security in the election systems, and Representative Bottoms went a step further, calling for criminal investigation into the Secretary of State's office, citing discomfort with the process and systems currently in place for certifying election results. Finally, a vote was taken 57-6, with one excused and one seat vacant, allowed the motion to pass and carried on. Looking into the future, there's going to be 120 days of a session, and it promises to be just as exciting as the last one, especially if last year is anything to go by, because in the 2024 session, the lawmakers introduced 705 bills, with approximately 74% of them passing both chambers. And I mentioned this last week in the Week in Review previously. coleg.gov, which is actually a roundabout way to get there, but one we all remember that have been around for a while. You can look up bills, type in topics, gun safety, abortion, any issue that you'd like to find out what's going on with bills. Or if you know the number of a bill, if it starts with an H, HB, it's originated in the House. If it's SB, it originates in the Senate, and you can type in the numbers. And as I said last time, you can find out who your legislators are and write them. You can also head up to the Capitol when a bill is assigned to a committee and testify yourself. It's quite exciting. Something everybody should experience at least once. And those are the top stories for the first full week of January 2025. Please like and subscribe and get our newsletter if you'd like to see where the references from these articles are from. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Engage the Rockies podcast, your go-to podcast for local and state issues concerning Colorado.